Welcome to your Week 1 video lesson. Ignore any due dates and times you see in my weekly videos or in any other videos throughout this course because there's a good chance I'm using the same video for several classes and they might all have different due dates and times. So make sure to check your course for the due dates and times that apply to your assignments. Each week I'll make you a short video where I go through the materials on the weekly to-do list and show you how to do the graded discussion forum. Let's go ahead and take a look at that to-do list together. It looks like a lot, but it's really not that much once you get past the syllabus. First thing, make sure and look over everything in the Start Here and Brightspace Help modules. Let me show you those. Just go to our course homepage and you'll see right here, Start Here and Brightspace Help. These modules are loaded with resources that will help you succeed in my class and they'll probably help you out in some of your other classes as well. So don't skip those. Definitely watch any videos you encounter in my class, especially in the previous modules that I just showed you. My videos are loaded with helpful tips and tricks to help you do well in the class and on specific assignments. It's a good idea to read the syllabus from beginning to end at the beginning of any class you take, especially mine. You'll find my syllabus in the Start Here module and it'll be right at the top of the page. Definitely read it. Then you've got a narrative brainstorming discussion forum, which I'm going to help you with in just a minute, and a quiz that you'll take on your own. Now, anytime you're navigating through Canvas, it's good practice to start at the top of the weekly module and use these gray arrows to move through the materials. That way you don't miss anything. Notice when we click this one, it takes us directly to the graded discussion forum. A lot of teachers make students think that brainstorming is kind of pointless, and that's a mistake. I have to try and undo that damage because brainstorming is actually an important part of the writing process. It's where you come up with a few ideas, and hopefully one of those ideas will be something you can use to write a paper in the near future. So that's what we're working on today. We're going to generate a few ideas, and hopefully in the coming weeks, one of those ideas will pan out into your first great essay in this class. Here's a tip, and this applies to any discussion forum you do for me. Put the word feedback in the subject line if you want me to leave comments on your work. Now, some people are okay with that and some aren't. It's a public forum. And so, if you want my input, put feedback, and I'll be happy to tell you what I think. But if you're not comfortable getting comments in a public forum, don't put the word feedback. It's not a problem. It's totally fine. Either way, do what works for you. It doesn't impact your grade. It's just an invitation for us to interact. So here are the instructions. Below you'll see 3 sets of questions. Answer all of the questions, but don't overthink this. Keep it short and simple. We're just brainstorming. Now, if you have something that's a little too personal to post in the public forum, you can always send it to me in an email. The best way to do that is just come up here in Brightspace and click on this little envelope. But this is a college class, and pretty much anything goes. I don't think anybody's going to get offended with a little sex or drugs or whatever you think might be off topic. It's not. It's college. But again, if you're a private person, feel free to email it to me. I think the best way to get this done would be to copy the 3 sets of questions. Now, I'll go ahead and do that, but since I'm a teacher, the screen is going to change when I do it. It won't change for you, so don't worry. But here, I'm going to go ahead and copy this so you can see. All right, next thing, you'd want to start a new thread. You just click this blue Start New Thread button. Now, I've already started my thread, but here's what happens when you click it. Notice you got a subject line. This is where you'd put feedback if you want me to leave comments in the public forum. And again, if you're not comfortable with that sort of feedback, public, don't put feedback here. Put something else like brainstorming or week 1 discussion, and that's fine. All right. Now, I've already started a post, so we're going to go ahead and open mine up and take a look at it together. So notice you can see I copied the sets and I posted them in here, but I added answers. So let's walk on through them so you can see what your answers should look like. Set number 1, in 1 sentence, tell us about a brief, scary memory you have. Notice it says in 1 sentence, so don't overdo it. Keep it short. 1 sentence will get it done here. And focus on a brief, scary memory. Don't tell us about like an entire night that you were terrified. Narrow it down to one brief thing. For example, I wrecked my 1967 Mustang. If you've ever been in a car wreck, you know it takes a split second to happen, and hopefully, if nobody's really hurt, it takes a few minutes to play out while you wait for the cops to show up. And sometimes people really do get hurt, and it does take longer. And that's something that you can maybe work into your paper. But for brainstorming, keep your answers short. In as few words as possible, tell us when it happened. I mean that, as short as possible. So for me, it was 1993. That's all you need to know for now. In as few words as possible, tell us who was involved. That was me, Ryan, and a few cops. You don't need to know who Ryan is right now. I don't need to know who everybody in your life is right now. We're just brainstorming. If you turn this idea into a paper, then you tell us about the people. But for now, just list whoever was there. That way, if you have to refer back to this later on, you've got a few names. In one sentence, tell us how it changed you. Well, some things change you for the better and some things change you for the worse. This one made me a little more humble about my driving skills. I used to think I knew how to drive, and after this accident, I was pretty sure I didn't. I had to cool it a little. Set 2. In one sentence, tell us about a brief, funny, or a nice memory you have. Again, one brief memory. Don't tell us about an entire summer you went away to camp. That's too much. Narrow it down to one brief memory. For me, we stole a candy machine. In as few words as possible, tell us when it happened. It was about 3 a.m. one summer night. Isn't that when most funny or nice things happen? In as few words as possible, tell us who was involved. It was me, this guy Nate, and some random dudes that chased us. And in a sentence, tell us how it changed you. Well, that night I learned that it's better to get away with nothing than to get caught. We're all adults here. It's okay to learn adult lessons. Last set. This one's up to you. Tell us about another brief memory you have. Good, bad, or ugly. Totally up to you. Just keep it brief. So for me, I fell hard skateboarding. In as few words as possible. When did it happen? Late one night. I'm from Florida, so all nights kind of blend together, whether it's summer, spring, winter. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. They're dark and humid. Anyway, in as few words as possible, tell us who was involved. It was me. That guy Ryan, that guy Nate I mentioned previously, another guy Eric, PJ, and I'm sure if I think about it for a minute, there were others there, but the big names that I remember were Ryan, Nate, Eric, and PJ. Anyway, if I turn this into a paper later on, I'll comb through my memories and see if I can figure out everybody that was there. In one sentence, tell us how it changed you. It was just a hard fall that I got up from. So I don't know. Maybe this one is better that it didn't change me. If I was somebody who didn't get up from hard falls, maybe I'd be a completely different person. This one I got up, dusted myself off, got back on the skateboard, and kept skating. So yeah, it's probably better this one didn't change me. Anyway, that's it. Notice all my answers are short and to the point. That's all you have to do this week. Once you're done, you just hit the submit button. Since I'm a teacher, I have a reply button. You will have a blue submit button. You hit that, you're done. Click that gray arrow. That'll take you to the quiz. My quizzes are always meant to be easy. They're multiple choice. They're not timed. You get 2 tries at them, and I'll always count the higher of the 2 tries. Some teachers, they'll count the second try for better or for worse. I always count the higher attempt score. How's that for cool? For this week, you're just demonstrating that you know how to access a multiple choice quiz. It's just one question. You got to, click the start quiz button and you'll see how easy it is. I'm not going to do that because it's just going to, if I click it, it's just going to take you to a teacher quiz setup and you don't need to see that. Okay, so that's it for this week. If you have any questions about anything you saw in this video, don't hesitate to come up here, click on the envelope in bright space, and shoot me an email, and I'll do my best to clarify.